Okay, so let's get one thing straight. I fucking love The Legend of Zelda. I've played every single goddamn one of these games my broke ass could get a hold of, and I have no plans of stopping in the future. They're fun and approachable, and they make me feel good. At some point I might make a video just to talk about why this franchise is so great, but needless to say, the love is here, and the love is real. Considering that I spent 3 years of my life and the cost of a used Mercedes-Benz on a literature degree, I often find myself turning a critical eye on the things that I enjoy. So today I want to turn my unemployed attention to The Legend of Zelda, specifically to the titular princess herself. Why don't we start with the good stuff? A lot of ink and blood and tears and doxed home addresses have been spilled over the discussion of women in video games. What are they doing there? What do they want? Will they ever go away? Now, if you look at the original 1986 Zelda, you can see a lot of these classic criticisms playing out. She is basically a human MacGuffin, her interests include wearing a dress and standing in a room. But this is a point where video game analysis diverts from literary analysis, because with games, there's a technical element to consider. Original Zelda does not exist outside of her function as the goal, but then again, does Old Caveman exist outside of his function as an old man in a cave? No. I mean, maybe in the pamphlet, but I'm not going to read that. What do I look like, a nerd? It's true that I'm giving Nintendo the benefit of the doubt here, but here's what's cool. As the hardware got more advanced, Zelda got more interesting. Bit of handhold there. Ooh, now she's chatting. Look, she's got a whole backstory. She's got feelings. Obviously, this wasn't a linear improvement. Breath of the Wild Zelda isn't automatically a better character than Wind Waker Zelda just because she's better animated, but you can't deny that she's gotten progressively more human, especially compared to other franchise characters who are basically doing the same shit now as they were in the 80s. No, not Peach. Well, yes, Peach as well, but I was actually talking about Link. He's remained consistently... I don't want to say bland. Simple. Consistently simple. Sometimes he's young and cute, sometimes he's old and cool, but at no point have we ever seen him gaze out of a window and wonder what it's all for. He is a conduit through which we, the player, experience his adventure. Which is fine, that works. Zelda looks a lot more interesting, just through pure contrast. She's like the Luigi to his Mario, the secondary character given the freedom to experiment and evolve. Up to a point. One of the things I really like about Legend of Zelda is the archetypal tone that it has. If Kirby is a nursery rhyme and Mario is a bedtime story, Legend of Zelda is, well, a legend. It's a myth. Not a tightly woven plot with exact narrative beats, but a loose structure that's meant to be played around with. Part of the fun of the series is seeing how each new game tries to respin the old formula, and because she's allowed to change, Zelda often ends up encapsulating the spirit of whatever game she's in. She's been a ninja, a pirate, a scholar, a warrior, a lute maiden of the skies. A lot of these characters feel totally divorced from one another, which makes it all the weirder that they all end up getting kidnapped by the same pig. It makes sense within each individual story, but when you look at the series as a whole, it feels less like the fault of any particular villain, and more like the Zelda identity itself is kind of a curse. Take Take Shake, for example. In Ocarina of Time, we meet her and she's cool, kind of mysterious, does a flip, knows what's up, but as soon as she goes back to being Zelda, all of that power is gone. Boom. She barely got time for a monologue before falling victim to a spooky floating orb. The same goes for Tetra in Wind Waker. All game long she makes fun of Link for being a stupid poopy baby boy who doesn't want his family to die, but after the big reveal, all of a sudden she's got no objections to standing in a room and letting him sort everything out. Even Skyward Sword Zelda, who I find grating on the best of days, is doing stuff right up until the big Destiny revelation, at which point she says, "I am now going to seal myself in this crystal for no reason. Farewell." Link's destiny is a call for a passive person to action. Zelda's destiny is a call for an active person to fall into dreary, dreary passivity. And you might be saying to yourself, damn, this is all kind of depressing. Isn't there a game out there where Zelda gets a break? A sweet subversive gem that nods to the canon while also giving her something more interesting to do? An underrated classic gone overlooked for far too long? Ideally involving trains? The answer to that question, friends, is yes. So picture this, you're me, I'm 10, it's 2009, you got a DS Lite for your birthday and you played a game called Phantom Hourglass, which was fun, but also kind of confusing, like a lot of it went over your head. Then you found out there was a sequel, and it's got trains in it, and you love trains, so you toddle down to CEX and blow all of your pocket money on a copy. The sequel is called Spirit Tracks, and it turns you into a gamer girl for life. I did not understand the concept of nostalgia until I replayed Spirit Tracks as an adult. It's what I believe the kids refer to as totally my shit. The music slaps, the gameplay is awesome, but the thing that I really want to talk about is the story. So the villain in Spirit Tracks is a guy called Chancellor Cole. Now, I don't throw around the word iconic very often, but this is a man who hides his demon horns with two tiny top hats. And just listen to his theme! Anyway, Chancellor Cole wants to resurrect the Demon King and he needs to use Zelda as like a possession vessel, blah blah blah, you know the drill. But this time round, Cole gets his hands on Zelda pretty much straight away, and since he needs her body emptied to make room for Pazuzu or whatever, he does a quick exorcism and turns our girl into a ghost. Now at first, Zelda takes this pretty well. She's just kind of calm and floaty and regal and says, alright, let's go see the mystical old lady and see if she can sort this out. The old lady explains what the villain's plan is, and then this happens. In what must be one of the greatest moments in the history of fiction, Princess Zelda breaks character and goes completely fucking ballistic. She cannot handle this situation, like, at all. Watching this happen as a kid, I felt like I'd just seen Thomas the Tank Engine do a line of coke. It comes out of nowhere, and she goes between Link and the old lady, trying to figure out what they need to do to solve the problem, before finally the penny drops. They can't do anything. It's up to her. This scene sets up Zelda's arc for the remainder of the story. She travels with Link, visits a kingdom, fights alongside him. They develop a relationship that feels adorable and genuine, which is reflected in the cooperative gameplay. By the time she gets her body back, Zelda has grown into a more genuine version of the person we saw before. She's able to take responsibility not just for the kingdom, but for herself. What's fantastic about Spirit Tracks is that it takes this narrative that we've seen over and over again and plays it in reverse. We meet Zelda on autopilot, passive, boring, being led everywhere by the hand. Then she gets taken away from that identity and suddenly starts acting like a human being. She's separated from herself, not metaphorically, but physically, almost as if her body was the problem all along. From a purely logistical standpoint, Spirit Tracks seems to imply that the Zelda identity is not just a curse. It is almost like a physical ailment, the endpoint of which is a total loss of bodily control. Time and again we've seen Zelda trapped, possessed, knocked out, sent to the spirit realm. Her bodily autonomy is constantly under threat. While it might seem campy or over the top, these are dramatizations of what a lot of people go through every day. Maybe someone says something that makes you feel like your body doesn't belong to you. Maybe you get in a headspace where you just want to unzip the whole thing and walk away. As an adult, I can see this struggle playing out in Spirit Tracks. The struggle of a young woman to reclaim her body on her own terms, to break free of an inherited curse. Was this the intention of the game's creators? Probably not. They probably just came up with a cool mechanic and reverse engineered the story so that it would make sense. But in a way it doesn't matter. Roland Barthes said in The Death of the Author, "There is no time other than that of the utterance, and every text is eternally written here and now." Or, to quote the tagline for The Princess Bride, "It's as real as the feelings you feel." So what does the future hold for Link and Zelda? There might be hope on the horizon. Breath of the Wild told, briefly and in far too many small pieces, the story of a Zelda who kind of knows about her shitty destiny and struggles with the powerlessness and the feeling that what she does might not be enough. Things do more or less track out the way they normally do, but space has been left open for a sequel that takes the formula in a bold new direction. And we all know what that means.
Come on, motherfuckers, come on. Come on, motherfuckers, come on. Yeah, come on, motherfuckers.
Well, the wait is over.
Release the brainstorm to make the motherfucking